Shields up, Paladins, and welcome to an Overwatch Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you all about Zarya and how I like to use this particular character. Zarya is one of the tank roles within Overwatch, as well as she has 200 health and 200 shields. Now with all this being said and done, let's go ahead and jump right on over to her weapon and her abilities. The very first thing I'm going to actually talk about is her passive ability, which is simply called Energy. Now, the description is damage blocked increases the particle cannon's damage. Now, energy is gained by blocking damage with either particle or projected barrier, of course the max being 100%. The energy decays at a rate of 1.6% per second. Energy instantly resets to 0 upon death, and also Resurrect does not restore energy. The more energy Zarya has, the brighter she will glow, and 50% or higher is considered to be high energy. Now going right to her weapon, which is called Particle Cannon. Now the primary fire, the aim type is a beam. Now the description is Zarya's mighty particle cannon unleashes a short-range beam of destructive energy. Now the damage is 95 per second at 0% or 170 per second at 100%. Max range is 15 meters. Area of effect is a 0.15 meter beam width. Rate of fire is 20 rounds per second. You have 100 rounds per magazine. The reload time is 1.6 seconds. And of course, you cannot receive headshots with this weapon. Now, still talking about the particle cannon, it does have a secondary fire, which is the aim type of that is an arching projectile, which is an explosive. Now, the description of that is alternatively, Zarya can lob an explosive charge to strike multiple opponents. So the enemy, which the damage will do 9.4 to 47 at 0%. At 100%, it'll do 19 to 95. Now you can do self-harm with this particular alternate fire. Now the self-damage at 0% does 4.7 to 23.5, and at 100% it will do 9.5 to 47.5. The projectile speed is 25 meters per second. Area of effect is a 2.5 meter radius. The rate of fire is 1 shot per second. Of course, you still have 100 rounds per magazine. Ammo usage is 25 rounds per shot. Reload time is 1.6 seconds. And of course, you cannot receive headshots with the alternate fire as well. Now going into her first ability, which is called Particle Barrier. And so now the description of this, the particle cannon can emit a personal barrier that shields Zarya against incoming attacks, redirecting their energy to enhance her weapon's damage at the width of its beam. Health is 200, area effect is a 1.5 meter radius, duration is only 2 seconds, and the cooldown is 10 seconds. Now Zarya gains a 0.2 energy per damage blocked by its barrier, or 1% energy per 5 damage blocked. The barrier cleanses Zarya of most statuses and damage over time effects. While the barrier is up, Zarya is immune to all damage and most crowd control effects, even if its attack pierces the barrier, such as Rocket Punch. This does not protect Zarya from knockback, and even if the barrier is destroyed, it will protect Zarya from the attack. So now we have projected barriers. So of course this is a targeted aim type. The description is Zarya surrounds one of her teammates with an energy barrier that simultaneously absorbs fire and boosts the power of her particle cannon. Health of course is still 200, max range is 30 meters, area of effect is a 1.5 meter radius, duration is 2 seconds, and the cooldown is 8 seconds. Projected barrier behaves identical to particle barrier for more abilities. Although the barrier prevents the target from being hacked, slapped, frozen, or stunned in the first place, it does not interrupt those effects once it has already been applied. And finally, for her ultimate ability, which is called Graviton Surge, the aim type is a course arching projectile, which is the initial cast. Then it becomes an area of effect ability once it starts. The description is Zarya launches a gravity bomb that draws in enemy combatants and deals damage while they are trapped. The damage, of course, is impact, which is 5. Damage over time is 5 per second, or up to 18.72 for overall. The projectile speed is 25 meters per second. Area of effect is a 6 meter radius. Duration is only 4 seconds, and the ultimate cost is 2,100 points. So most movement abilities are disabled within Graviton Surge, except Reaper's Wraith Form and Moira's Fade. Also, Orissa's, whatever it's called, I can't even think of it right now, but Orissa's, pretty much her Hulk up version, where she gets all nice and shiny. That'll also help her walk out of that as well. So now, that's all of her abilities and what they do. Now, the way that I like to use Zarya, to me, she is not an easy tank to pick up. I would say she is a very challenging tank to play. One of the most rewarding when played well. She gains energy by absorbing damage with her barrier abilities, increasing her own damage, which is great. At the maximum energy, she is a monstrous threat to the enemy, and that will tear them apart within seconds with her particle cannon. Her ultimate has some of the highest playmaking potential within the game, with the ability to trap the entire team in a single spot for her allies to fire upon. All this comes with severe weaknesses, though. Keep this in mind. She is the softest of all the tanks with the lowest base health out of all of them. Same for Orisa. No, she doesn't have any movement abilities that allow her to get away quickly or kind of jump in, jump out like Orisa. I'm sorry, not Orisa, but Winston and Wrecking Ball, just to name 2 tanks that have that. Even somewhat Reinhardt, to the extent with his charge ability, and only a frequent short duration barrier to protect herself and her team. She is heavily reliant on her teammates to charge her up, charge her energy, providing cover and healing when she is out of position, and coordinate with her ultimate. So she's a very, 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 very team-based tank that you have to have at least a decent healer almost kind of watching you to make sure, okay, you're not getting too far out there or anything like that, so I can, kind of heal you, keep you up, but also at the same time, you're also relying on yourself as well as your team to help get your energy up there, because the more energy you have and the more that you can hold it, you become more of a threat than anyone else out there in the field, because you, amongst everyone else, you can demolish people very, very quickly. And even though that you do have the beam effect, Genjis like to run up and just deflect instantly. That beam, Genjis can't do that with, and you will actually cut them down pretty quickly if you are at 100% or higher. But that is the way that I like to use Zarya. That's just a lot of technical information about her. That's the way that I would recommend trying to use her. Play her more, kind of as a backup tank. Right now, the kind of how the RNG, or not the RNG, just kind of how the game is being played right now. I would say definitely, if you don't have a Reinhardt, or if you don't have a Sigma or someone like that can actually put out a barrier and keep a barrier up, which is a pretty wide one, I would recommend maybe picking them over Zarya, just for the simple fact is that you can be more of a team player but also hold your own. With Zarya, you kind of have to almost rely on having a Reinhardt or even a Sigma or even an Orisa for that matter, just to kind of help with a shield, so where you can always bounce off of health between you and maybe the other tank instead of you and maybe a DPS. So that is something just to kind of keep out there and everything like that. So hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, concerns. If I did, definitely drop a comment and drop a like. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.